All right, so I'm gonna get real chefy here. Real chefy. It's gonna get very it's gonna get crazy in here. I'm gonna make a shashuka. A shashuka. All right, so I got quite a few things going on here that's going to be very non-typical. Alexa off of a shashuka. All right, so first things first. I gotta have some extra protein because we're trying to get protein in every meal, right? So the protein for this meal is gonna be whole eggs, and then I gotta cook some lean protein, which is going to be 98% lean ground chicken here. So I'm gonna cook that off. I'm gonna season that up with a little bit of onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika. I'm gonna start chopping up some bell peppers and some onion, which I'm gonna saute on another pan. And I actually have broccoli, which is super atypical, of a shashuka. So I'm gonna chop a couple pieces of a couple florets off. I'm gonna microwave them to get them really soft. And I'm gonna get them sauteing, the veggie sauteing. All right, so I have avocado oil is underneath that. All right, so I have my chickens cooked. All right, the veggies that are in the pan right now. Looks like that's a little excess turkey right there, chicken. The veggies that are in the pan right now are the chopped up broccoli, red bell pepper, onion. All right, now I'm going to make a little bit of a hole here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in some spices real quick. Some cumin, which is brand new. I gotta open that up. I just got it in. And paprika, but I want to toast them up a little bit. So I'm gonna put some avocado oil directly on top. Now again, typically with, remember I'm making one meal here, so I keep forgetting that I shouldn't be going crazy. Usually something like this I'd make 2 or 3 servings at a time. So we're going to toast these bad boys up. That was a lot of oil. Definitely don't use that much oil. That was like an entire tablespoon of oil. We're going to toast those up. A little bit of cumin, a little bit of paprika. Now that's going to go a long way. Now again, typically we'd be using an olive oil, not an avocado oil, but I don't want to cook with an olive oil. And I don't have a good olive oil on hand right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go in with some, typically you would do whole tomatoes. Like you do canned tomatoes, chop them up, just literally separate them by hand, squeeze them, squish them, crush them, whatever the hell you want to call it. This is Christine's homemade pasta sauce. So there's literally nothing in here besides some garlic, onions, tomatoes, and some seasoning. That's how she does her pasta sauce. You have to ask her for any more specifics than that. So we got some of our tomatoes in there. We got our seasoning on top. I'm going to hit this with just a little bit more cumin because I went really light on that cumin. Cumin can be overwhelming if you go too hard with it. I'm going to lower the heat now. Right? Just a little bit more cumin. I'm going to lower the heat because this is going to reduce quickly. The reason why I like to use her sauce is because it's already stewed for a very long time, right? It's already stewed for a very long time. But to give it just a little bit more complexity, if you would, because I'm chefing it up here, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of soy sauce, right? And that'll give it a really deep, almost make it feel like or taste like it's stewed even longer right now. Plus, we start to get some sodium in there for some flavor and some taste, right? So I'm going to put this here, let it simmer. All right, let it simmer. I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of agua because we want that to loosen up just a little bit. So I'll put a little bit of water in there, potentially a little bit more water. I'm going to come back with my chicken here. All right, and I'm going to weigh out a serving of chicken for me, which in this particular case is going to be 100 grams of cooked chicken because There you go. That's perfect, actually. 101. We're going to mix that in, get it all incorporated. I think I got sauce on my shirt. All right, so we got that in there. The next thing that's going to go in, am I missing anything? Did I forget anything? I don't think so. The next thing that's going to go in are your whole eggs. Okay, that's what makes it a breakfast type food. But for me, I like just about everything a little bit more spicy. This just came in too. So I'm going to hit just a little bit of crushed red pepper in there for me. Just a tad bit. Just to give it a little bit of kick. Right, so I'm going to go in just a little bit with that. And again, incorporate all this. Right, now listen, the longer you can let a meal like this sit here and just simmer for, the better off you're going to be. The only thing that you want to be considerate of when letting it simmer is how much liquid is actually in there and how much is it reducing. Right, so I am on low, and this is reducing quite a bit. So I'm going to put a little bit more water in there. The goal isn't to be soupy. It could be thick, but again, I don't want it to reduce so much that it starts to burn. So we're going to put that lid back on, and now that should be good with the lid on. We'll come back in a few minutes and crack those eggs in there. Remember, this is a Mediterranean breakfast dish, right? Or some shit. I think it's like North Africa. It's definitely Mediterranean, but it's a breakfast dish, so that's where the eggs come in. This is my meal one. Typically, I did order sourdough bread this morning from Whole Foods. Unfortunately, it was out of stock, so it didn't come in. Typically, they would have some sort of like pita bread or something like that. My go-to was going to be the sourdough bread, but in this particular case, I'm just going to eat it as is. So just tomato sauce, the red pepper, onion, broccoli that's in there. So for all intents and purposes, there's plenty of carbs in there. It's not like you're missing it. There's probably, in this particular dish, the way that I made it, it's probably fucking overloaded with fat because of the amount of oil I just used. And then, so I'll probably be getting, with the amount of eggs that I use, which typically I would do 3 eggs, I think I'm only going to do 2. But I'm not sure yet. So there's probably going to be somewhere in this for me around 50 grams of protein, right? Probably like 45 grams of protein, probably a solid, easily a 20 grams of fat. And then there's probably still going to be a solid like 25 grams of carbohydrates in there from all the veggies and the red sauce that's in there. So I'm not really worried about underdoing it from a carbohydrate standpoint, and neither should you if you want to just have this as a breakfast item. But again, we'll come back here in a minute. We're ready for the eggs. All right, so we're going in with our eggs now. So we got our shashuka. I got more fucking chicken on that pan. We got our shashuka looking like this, right? Like so. Where is it? 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 Can you see it? Yeah, like so. Nice and stewed up, right? It's looking pretty. Translucent onions, right? Everything's nice and soft and cooked down in there. Broccoli probably could have used another minute or two, but we're looking pretty good in there overall. Remember, if you're just using a tomato base, I'd probably throw some garlic in there too. But my tomato base already had some garlic in there. And now we're going to go in, and I am only going to use 2 eggs. We're going to go right on top with it. All right. Bada bing, bada boom. We'll get rid of these. And then we got, you'll want to just kind of cover up the egg whites a little bit. Do not pop your yolks, obviously, because then you're a fucking rookie if you do that. But we'll try to cover up a little bit of that with some more red sauce. And then again, we'll let this sit until everything is kind of, the eggs are cooked through, and you'll know because they'll look like cooked egg whites. All right. But we'll come back and we'll show you that when I'm done. All right. So now this is where we're at. Right. You can see the egg whites are cooked through, and it even looks like I overcooked the yolks a little bit. Those yolks might not be as runny as we want them. But this is the end product. Now I'm going to put this on a plate, and we'll come back and take a look at that, I guess. All right, so this is what we're looking at here now. I don't know if you guys can really see that or not, but I'm going to hit it with some lemon, just a little bit of lemon on there, which is going to be effing delicious. I'm going to put a little bit of salt on top because I didn't salt my meat, which I completely and totally forgot about. But this should be nice and delicious. So it's just a different meal for us to be able to kind of have some sort of contrast to the typical eggs and oatmeal. And now listen, again, this might be a little bit too large of a serving size for somebody. Totally understandable. I could have used a lot less tomato sauce, a lot less veggies in here. But it obviously would have condensed the size of this quite a bit. And then obviously the macros would be a little bit nicer. And again, the macros probably aren't going to be bad on this. I only used the 2 whole eggs, so it's only like 10, 12 grams of fat. Even with the oil that I put in there with some of it cooking off, I'd say max 15 grams of fat. And then again, we have red pepper, onion, broccoli, and then tomato sauce. You know what I mean? Which again, if you guys do it on your own, you're not using, Christine tomato sauce. You literally just get canned tomatoes. Legitimately just use your hands to crush them in there. Throw some garlic powder. You season it yourself with your cumin and whatnot. Let me get my salt. Let's get in here. Oh, yeah. No, that's perfect. You see that? Oh, it's so gooey. It's so gooey. So now we can go in there. We got a spoonful of everything. It's way too hot to be diving in like that. But the lemon on there is nice. It's absolutely beautiful. This is a good one, especially, again, you have the sourdough bread or something like that to be able to, eat with this and be able to soak it up a little bit. You do keep it a little bit more contained as far as the veggies and the sauces are concerned, so you're not running into so many carbs coming from it. It's fucking delicious.